or 5 frames or whatever, because when I was going through my journalism studies, one of them was creative development, creative composition, and my Professor Tyler, thank you. He put it as like, when you put together a plan for a story, you want to think of it as kind of like a grate. Like when you see some of those like old buildings, they have all those ivy growing all over the old buildings. There's actually a framework, usually like a metal framework underneath all of that. And it's like, and that's how your vine grows. It's going to start. It might go over to the left. It might go over to the right. It may jump across the building, across the street. But without that frame, it just slides limply on the ground. And even he has a plan.
I have frames. Yep.
It may be a bare bones, loose bamboo frame over a 1,000-mile chasm.
Yep.
But it's there.
Yep. So yeah, no, the framework does help. So any aspiring creators in here, you guys like to make your own stuff, or yeah. So I feel sorry for you. Been there, done that. Bought the T-shirt. But I mean, one of the nice things about doing this in general is that we can kind of give advice to people, or at least show people, hey, you don't have to be a professional to do this, because I certainly am not. And I think we're more used to that these days. People know that if you put the effort into it, you can do pretty well with stuff. That's the nice thing that I think is you get these days. So no matter how ridiculously incompetent you might seem to be at, so. Okay. So any other thoughts and comments? Yes, sir.
Since we're getting toward the end, this is your chance to shill everything you're working on that you want us to get when it comes out. Anything?
I wish I was working on stuff.
Well,
no, really.
I mean, projects. I know there's stuff that I haven't looked up on the news on. I literally don't remember what the last update was about, like the visual novel and stuff.
One of the things about a lot of the stuff that I've been working on is that, like I said, I lost about 5 months out of this year to a bunch of stuff. So that really, and then the previous years before that, things were chaos. So a lot of it's just been a struggle to just keep the Megatokyo story going, do some extra artwork on the side, just because, like I'd come up with little sort of story ideas, and a lot of times they would end up being a series of illustrations. I lost my developer for the visual novel game, a while ago, and I've been faced with, well, how do I take what I'm doing and be able to chunk at it? Because really, a lot of it comes down to what I need to do. And you ever do something where you've decided, I'm going to paint a wall this way, and you're going to do it with like a tiny little brush because it looks really good, and then after like 3 weeks, you've done maybe 3 square feet, and you're like, how am I going to do the rest of the wall? It's going to take 6 years. That was kind of the problem I had with the visual novel. I set things up poorly, and what I've done is I've been working on how to change my approach. That I think it'll still be fun to read and work with, but that ridiculous sort of complexity of how I had it set up is a problem. And basically, with the chaos of the past couple of years, I haven't been able to rework it. So it's not a dead project. It's there. I just need to kind of sort of start pushing it out in different ways. So if I can ever get some stability with the comic and other things, it's sitting on my desk to work on. And it's like when you have a bunch of projects. You ever have a bunch of projects and you do a little bit of work on one, a little bit of work on other. And if you work on like 5 or 6 projects all at the same time, it looks like you haven't done anything. That's kind of what I deal with a lot. But at the same time, I've still got ideas, I've still got things that want to happen. I definitely feel like I need to get something a little newer out for people to read. I had a little side project that I actually started to work on before things really got bad, which I called the Tokyo Tokyo Threat Documentation Project, which that's the recent one, which was I was going to do, and I'm still going to. There's a Tokyo TPCD employee, and who she is, and is actually kind of an interesting question, who has been going around and documenting all of the monsters in Tokyo. And so what it is it's single illustrations or a couple illustrations with them making comments about, why are you doing this? Okay, and answering some questions. And it's a simple little thing, but it had some kind of fun to it, because I've been drawing all sorts of different weirdo characters anyway.
And when were you gonna tell me about this?
I told you about this.
I know, you actually didn't.
Where do you think all the rabbit girls came from? What do
I
you
was
think I've been
wondering
doing?
what, I was wondering what you were doing, actually. You never actually told me.
I heard about it.
Okay, so, anyway, that got derailed by life pretty badly. But it's one of those things that, there's stuff, Megatokyo is always gonna take days to do a comic, to work on. I mean, it just does. There's a lot of work to make one, because the density of it, I can't change that. People would notice. But, the idea of being able to do some sketches that I could pop into this sort of a weekly feed where there's a new monster, basically. Of course, my monsters, what they're gonna look like. So, it was an interesting concept that, of course, as usual, gets more and more complicated and interesting over time. It will end up taking more time than the Megatokyo comic to do in the end, I know, because that's how I roll with things. But that, and Warmth is interesting too, because like I said, I did about 15, 20 pages of this. I've actually gone back and decided to kind of go with a 4-panel setup for it and release it to Webtoons. And what I did is I took the original artwork that I was working with, and I sort of started to roll it out into a series of 4-panel pages. And it's amazing how well it works, which made me realize that in the end, I'm still doing 4-panel comics just with extra panels in it, which is interesting. So, but, like I said, I mean, these are things that I'm not going to start pushing them until they start bearing fruit, because I have not had a good track record with things lately, because life.
Well,
But yeah.
But if we are plugging things.
Yes, please do. Oh, and also I'll give my son Jack here has been quietly waiting to be able to plug his stuff. But you can go first.
With my work on the Endgames project, now I actually have started my next project. Excuse me. Currently the working title is titled Transcendent. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic story, if you will, in which you've had the great cataclysm, everything's been ruined, and well, actually things are starting to rebuild. They're actually looking.
Does it have happy
pretty
bits?
nice. No.
Oh, well, bummer.
It is still apocalyptic. Keep
Okay.
that in mind. I mean,
Yeah.
but and I'm planning that as kind of like a short story serial that I'll be publishing once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon has actually already agreed to be the primary distributor of it, both of the ebooks as the chapters as they come out, and as print volumes as they complete them.
Yep.
I'm kind of looking on that to be starting around sometime around early 2020,
Mm-hmm.
but don't hold me to that, because my day-to-day life is actually probably more chaotic than his is.
Yep. So, but that's the trouble with doing creative stuff. Trying to squeeze it into things in general can be tough. But yeah, so that's one that, I mean, he gives himself less credit than he should for the Endgames work. But a lot of that is, I mean, it was inspired by the setup that I had for this game. But he's the one who took it and ran with it and made the story that it is. So I'm pretty happy with it. So, what are you up to, Jack?
You'd probably be the only one.
Are you going to work on schoolwork when we get home?
Yeah, let me talk about that. So what I do is I do like artwork and drawings and stuff for my business. This year I didn't get a lot of customers, but I did get like I did make $97, which is like close to my goal of 100.
Okay, well.
So yeah.
So
next year I hope to make my business better, improve, and next year I'll have 2 tables.
wait a minute, you're gonna have 2 tables?
No.
Oh, okay. He was complaining because he got squeezed in real close to me. So
Yeah.
he had to work right next to me, and he wasn't happy about that because I was taking up all his space. So, but no, for about 6 years now, he's been joining me at the conventions, and every year he draws stuff and kind of
Yeah.
he's been putting little, yes.
Yeah, and this year I kind of actually had a theme.
Oh,
I had,
where's your theme?
Like the theme for my drawings was actually kind of the Legend of Zelda theme.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Just bear in mind, Jack, before you get too far along, we only have about 7 minutes.
Yes. So, you good? So, in other words, next year, when we come, you're gonna have a lot more stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot more artwork and stuff, and it'll always be by Megatokyo booth.
Yep.
Maybe next year we can have a panel.
What was that
of my own.
that one that you drew here at the end? What was that, the dark character? What was that
Dark
called?
Nut.
Dark
Yeah,
Nut.
they're
So
basically-
I took a picture of it and with my sketch, and I said, hey, Jack and I are drawing at the con. and somebody on Twitch actually said, hey, if it doesn't sell, he'll buy it. So this is kind of
Yeah.
starting to scare me. You're
It's
actually able to
already
sell them
sold.
even online, so.
Yeah.
But
I'm hoping
any
we
other
have a website, though.
questions that need answered or burning stuff, or are you guys all good?
Where can new people follow you?
What?
Where can new people follow you?
Well, good places is, well, there's, there's Megatokyo.com is the first place to look, but Megatokyo on Facebook is where I regularly post stuff. I know Facebook is hateful, but whatever. It's amazing how many people follow you there. Twitter, I've had a Twitter account since before Twitter actually was very functional. So that's, Fredrin on Twitter is a good place to follow me. But the main thing is that I have a Twitch channel, Fredrin on Twitch, and whenever I am working, I'm doing it live on Twitch. So you can tune in, and I don't usually use a microphone, but I'm always in the chat and stuff like that. So if you have any questions or if you're curious about stuff, feel free to pop in, because that's been something I've been doing. I've been doing the Twitch channel, was back when it was still Justin TV, and they invited me over to work on the Twitch channel, and it's just been doing it for a long time. So those are probably the main places, and I probably should add more, but I do actually have a Webtoons and LineTune account. I just don't have anything on that. So, okay. So, all right. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed your Youmacon this year. Hopefully, it wasn't too stressful. And I don't know how many of you are heading home tonight, but safe travels. And like I said, I'm local to the area. I live in the Ann Arbor area, so it's not too far for me. But that's a nice thing. It's a pretty nice convention to have, not that far from home. Because it used to be back in the 90s, you'd want to go to an anime convention, you'd have to go to one of the coasts. They didn't have hardly anything out here until Anime Central started. And that first Anime Central was actually my first con with Megatokyo, and that was where I discovered people actually read it. That was scary. So thank you for following me for all this time, and hopefully, if nothing else, the comics are readable and enjoyable to a certain degree, so thank you very much. All right.
Thank you all for coming.
Yep. Thank you. And I bet you this thing already died, but.
No, you've been going on this time.
So what do I do now? How do I turn this thing off? So I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know. How about the other time? 2 times you turned
Comic
it off.
books are on Amazon, by the way.
Oh, yes, so,
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
the graphic novels are, but the ND
Wait a minute.
novels are on Amazon.
come on.
Just turn it off. Just turn it off.
Oh, there it is. It says end. That would be the thing, so. All right. Are you sure? Am I ever sure about